How good is this song? Hello, Mickey, Lisa. All right, Angus is here. So, Angus, you know our deal, bro. Before, and it's actually I can actually see the comments without being on Facebook. So can you see them? Can you see anything? I will keep you updated. Oh wow, you're live, bro. Can everybody see? Am I the only person? Oh, hang on. No one can see you. We just danced together and no one saw it. Sorry, Angus.
That's okay.
That is, look, you're just going to have to see Angus's moves. Oh, wow. It's not working. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm so glad we're all here. Good to see you, Aileen. Jody, can you see the comments, Angus?
No, I cannot.
Okay, because you're on your phone. So, we've got 45 glorious human beings watching as we speak. And I'm just going to do the old share-a-roonies into my page. And you can't actually do that, can you?
No, I can't do that.
All good. Going live with Angus. Amazing. So, how is everybody? And please let us know where you're tuning from. Mickey wants to see you dance.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to have to. Who else wants to see Angus dance to that amazing, beautiful song? Me. And you know why it wasn't working? Because I had the wrong speaker.
I wonder if does my phone turn around? Yeah. Okay.
Now you're sideways. All right, Angus, show us your moves. You felt the energy, Joy felt the energy. All right, if anyone else is keen to dance along with us. Takia says, dance, Angus, dance. good vibes running high. Thank you, everybody. This is so super exciting. I am like, it's such a privilege to have this glorious human with us right now. And please bear with us. We have been in the behind the scenes trying to work out this app, which is, by the way, actually amazing. I'm going to just change the viewing here. So that's better. Welcome, Angus. How are you?
I am very well. Yeah. Well.
So, everybody, where are you tuning in from? Let us know. Let's get some global vibes happening here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love, love, love to see where you are. We've got Rachel, Alendra. Alendra, where are you from? I love your name. And just bear with us, guys, while we I'm trying to get like all of these different phones and whatnot happening. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So welcome to my incredible weekly show where we get to go unorthodox, we get to go real, we get to go raw. And this week I have invited Angus on because I actually really want to have a chat with everybody about plant medicine. Now, hands up, who has any idea what plant medicine is? Who has no idea what plant medicine is and who is curious about plant medicine? We've got Perth, Jody from Mackay. I was just in Mackay. Okay. We've got Alendra from Melbourne, Beaudesert. Waylene is close by. She's in Beaudesert. And we've got lots of crackling on your end.
I'm not live anymore.
You're live. I can see you.
Okay, apparently I am live, but I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now? But you just... you can't hear anything at all.
No.
This is hilarious. All right.
I'm not sure. Let's get real and raw about it.
Oh, this is cool. I just put something on the screen. We've got Sydney, Maria from Sydney. We've got Kerry. Awesome. Angus can't hear us. Why can't you hear us? Anyway, so I really wanted to jump on. Kerry says yes. I'm assuming Kerry says yes because you've seen or you know a little bit about plant medicine. Angus can hear us right now, so I'm just going to keep going as long as you guys can hear us. Hear me. How'd you go, Angus? Now we can't hear you at all. It might be lagging. No. Okay, so what about Yasmin's phone?
Pardon? I can't hear. Phone. What did she say, honey? Yasmin's watching, so maybe she can hear what you're saying and tell me.
Yes.
What did Jax?
We get to do that because we can hear you.
Okay, sure.
Yes, Yasmin is on. We can hear you.
Bring your phone over here. Oh yeah. Just a sec. We've got an idea.
Teamwork. Dream team. Yes.
I can hear you.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, so good, amazing. All right, let's do this. So, I really wanted to really talk about tonight and bring on live about plant medicines. And the reason why is because 2 years ago, I had no idea about plant medicine. I had no idea about shamans. In fact, if anything, I had a massive resistance around it, and we've just lost Angus. I don't know what's going on tonight. And so I thought that I would be able to share with you a little bit about my journey with it for those of us that actually curious or so, or probably like me a couple of years ago where I was just like, I have no idea anything about it. I really wanted to share with you how I actually got to learn and build a relationship with medicines. But more so than anything tonight, I wanted to really allow you to hear from Angus, because Angus is, in fact, he has sat in the jungle. Can you imagine that? Trekking in the Amazon, mosquitoes, wildlife, Hugs, all of the things. Shamans, dietas being a very strict diet, very strict, like very strict. And I met Angus late last year, and only recently got to learn about his story. And I really wanted to bring him on and share his story and his wisdom and all of the reasons why he found himself in the middle of the jungle working with shamans, coming from Brisbane. Was it Brisbane or Gold Coast you're from? Pounds. Even better. There you go. And so I wanted to bring him on to share his story and actually just have a conversation about this. So please feel free to put any comments. Georgia just did a plant medicine retreat. It was amazing. We've got someone from Columbus in Ohio. This is awesome. I really wanted to share with you my story first. Is that okay, guys, if I share with you my story? So there's a little bit of context around all of this, around who I am, around how I am today, and then we can just go from there. So I was firstly introduced to... Oh, there he is. Thank you again, because I can see you and no one else could.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for your patience on this. This is our first time ever, and guess what, it's just going to get better, and it's just going to get better, and it's just going to get better. So I was introduced firstly ever when actually I was on a night out. Not a night out, I was actually having a few drinks probably about 4 years ago with a guy that I was seeing, and I was very far from anything that I do today. I was very actually resistant around anything like medicines. I don't smoke marijuana, not because I'm against it, just because I don't respond well to it. I just get really sleepy. So that's the only thing I really knew about plant medicine was marijuana. And it was him that actually mentioned to me when we were having some wine. He said to me, "Have you ever heard of the spirit molecule, or the eye opening molecule?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Awesome. Yes. If you have a question, Mickey, please let us know. Brother is back. Yes. So it was actually that conversation, because I've always been really curious about how to become more intuitive and how I can open my third eye or things like that. And I know that there are incredible modalities, and I just really want to share with you, this is not at all us recommending it or even forcing it on anyone. This is for those who are really simply curious, and you get to extract what you want from our conversation tonight. This is by all means not an encouragement to do it. You get to make your own decision from this story, my story and Angus's story. At the time of my life, and I feel like it actually appeared at a really good time in my life, because I was feeling really, 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 really lost. Anyone else has felt that way? Really, really, really lost. I was drinking all the time. I was smoking all the time. I was out there partying and seeking validation from men. And that was the only thing I knew. And so when he actually mentioned that to me, I then started to do some research. And at the time, there was a documentary on Netflix called DMT, The Spirit Molecule. And so I watched it, and then I started YouTubing it, and I started learning more about it. So that's how I actually started to learn about it. And from there, I then in some conversations or meeting the right people, as the universe would have it, would guide the people to me that actually knew more about it, and I was learning more about it, and then I actually tried it for myself. And so my first interaction with plant medicine was DMT. I don't know what that is, but Angus, I'm sure you'll be able to explain that a little bit more later on. And honestly, whoa. So for me, it wasn't necessarily the actual experience itself. The experience itself was, it was like a rocket ship. It was definitely took me to another place. Look, I'd never done hallucinogenics before. I wouldn't even call it a hallucinogenic because it was so rapid and so quick for me. And I actually smoked it, and it went so quickly. It was actually the months that followed that really blew my mind, because it was kind of like a veil started to lift from my vision, from what I started to believe in life, and the suffering that I was experiencing in life. It started to alleviate because different droplets of wisdom were coming through, and I started to see the world in a different way. So I explored it a little bit more. And it was actually a friend of mine that introduced me to the notion of ayahuasca. Now, I had heard of ayahuasca, and I only knew of ayahuasca from going into the jungle in the Amazon. And I always had said to myself, maybe one day, but it was never something that I felt called to do. And it just, as the universe would have it, it kind of, things started to happen. And it actually, I was introduced to an incredible community where we actually sit with this beautiful medicine. And honestly, I was resistant at one time, but then I experienced the pull. Now, you guys know how much I'm all about the pull. And I started to experience this pull towards exploring it a little bit more and sitting with it. And for me, it was just, it's honestly, it has shifted so much in my life, in my belief, in how I show up, in so much, so much. And so, yeah, I wanted to really share with that. For me, it's just been such an incredible journey. It's been a very tumultuous up and down, left and right. I've faced a lot of demons within myself, but honestly, it's something that I can definitely share that it has literally shifted the game for me and in how I live my life and belief. So Angus is here. Angus, I would love if you would introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just reading the comments at the same time. I'd love if you'd introduce yourself to our beautiful tribe.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. First of all, if you don't know my name by now, by Jack saying it many times, and I'm pretty sure it's in the title of the thing, it's Angus. And I just want to start off by saying thank you for having me on to have a conversation about this, because this is a topic that's very dear to me and means a lot, and has had a lot of impact in my life. I've lost your video, but I'll continue.
I'm here. I've just got you on solo.
Or that the introduction sort of thing, like, hi everyone, my name's Angus.
Yeah. You got me?
Yeah?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I got you now.
So tell us about
Right.
Angus, about, like, because obviously this what we're chatting to tonight about is medicines and plant medicines. So can you tell me, like, from where you were in Cairns, how old were you, and how did you find out about this, and how did you end up being in the jungle?
I'm waiting to go live again, Jax. I can't hear you again. There's something. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. No. I can
Maybe,
see you, so I can
maybe
see you
Yasmin,
talking, yeah.
maybe get Yasmin's thingy.
Maybe with Yasmin's earpiece. We'll try it out. We'll try it out.
It's delayed.
Yeah, it's a little bit delayed, but I'll try it out.
That's fine. So the question I have for you, can you share with us the story on how, from a boy in Cairns, how the hell did you end up in the Amazon jungle? And what was that like? Like, well, tell us your story.
It's really delayed with the headphones, so when I hear what you just said, I'll speak to it. Okay, so from a boy in count, how did I end up in the Amazon jungle? So it actually started off similar to you with like little tidbits of information. Then, as the universe would have it, as you put it, more and more information came, and I felt a really strong calling to go and do this because being a truth seeker and someone looking to, expand their awareness and grow in different ways, I felt a very big calling to the medicine and how it was portrayed by the information that I got, something to help you with the evolution of your consciousness and expanding your mind. Um, so information after information came, and I actually went to an event and I met someone who had done travel in South America, authentic place to do this medicine. Or one of my mum's friends knew her, and we just made a connection. And then a little while later, I was talking to her, and she was taking a group of people into the jungle, and I was going to be one of those people. So then off I went. That's it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So tell us some more. Like, what was it like? What happened? Can you tell us what it was like, your experience, or what did you have to do?
Okay, my experience and what I had to do. What I had to do. Okay, so I had to work a job, or do you mean like more specifically when I was in the jungle, doing the work there? Yeah, in the
All
jungle?
of it, yeah, in the jungle.
All of it? Okay, so I
Yeah.
had to get a job and save some money, and that all happened. It all fell into place. Lots of things come in, and speaking to the facilitator that I went to the jungle with, she told me that the plants were working with me, the medicine was working with me even before going there and actually drinking the medicine, in the unseen happenings of the world. And lots of coincidental meetings with people and opportunities for getting money and resources to go to the jungle. And then I set off, booked my plane tickets, got all the stuff that I needed, and headed into the jungle to do the work with the medicine. And I stayed in a little town called Pucallpa. This is in Peru. Little third world town, lots of poverty and stuff like this. But um, in amongst all that, really beautiful, really close to the jungle, happy people. I stayed there for a little while, and then we Amazon jungle about 3.5 hours on a little boat up the river into the jungle. Introduced to the shaman's family and the shaman, and then that night we got there. We had an opening ceremony, and we sat in ceremony with ayahuasca medicine. So should I continue? Okay, I can see you nodding, so I don't have to wait for the delayed talk on the headphones. Okay. From there, that's when my 6 months initiation into shamanism began using ayahuasca medicine, because my purpose for going there was to actually learn how to facilitate this kind of work with these type of medicines and this modality. So it was a really deep dive for me, and my intentions were really strong to actually become a shaman. And that's where it started. That first little ceremony, we circled together with the shaman in the middle, and we would get some. Um, we stopped eating at lunchtime to let our diet, like let ayahuasca being a purgative medicine, which means it makes you throw alcohol body out. So we stopped eating at lunch and had the first ceremony. And I'll just touch on a little piece that ayahuasca heals on many different levels. So the first level being your physical level, your physical body, by cleansing your blood, which then cleanses your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, cleaning your whole physical vehicle, letting you see your past traumas from a different point of view and processing that stored up emotion from them. So the first ceremony was really powerful. I actually got to feel and see the impact that my words had on all of the people that I cared about. So in this, I drank the medicine. The shaman does his opening song. They're called Icaro, which is like medicine songs, and they're very interesting. And then about half an hour after that, I started experiencing the effects, bodily sensations, visual sensations, and different things. And yeah, I got to experience the pain and the sadness and all of the feelings that. So it's a really heart-opening ceremony for me because I gained insight on the effect that my words and actions have on other people. There was a lot of forgiveness for myself, a lot of love for all of the people around me. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And I can definitely, I think you just sharing that really helped me with my first experience with ayahuasca. And my first experience with ayahuasca, like obviously having no idea what to expect at all, kind of being really scared at the same time, but really excited as well because I'd heard so many great things about it. So my first experience with it, in fact, I actually ended up but experiencing my partner's ancestral pain. So my partner, beautiful, gorgeous Pakistani man, and he has suppressed a lot of pain his entire life, a lot of suppression of sadness. And my first ayahuasca journey actually had forged a connection between me and him, and I ended up crying the tears that he never, ever, ever cried, ever. So, and I'd heard about the intelligence of this medicine and the intelligence of the energetic connection through nature, and how some people can go through really healing experiences and heal their entire family. And so for me, that's actually something that happened for me as well, was that, I actually healed a lot of his ancestral pain. And in addition to that, in one of my medicine journeys, ayahuasca told me that I was an infinite here on this planet. So that was really huge for me to learn that. So are you having trouble hearing again, Angus? I think he is. Yeah. I think he's getting feedback. So just
No, I'm
as
good.
long
I can hear you through the headphone. It's just delayed.
yeah, gotcha. So what is it? Like what
So
is
grateful for everyone's patience and
yeah.
and compassion.
Yes. So what is it then, Angus? Do you know, like, what is it that you can share with everybody? What is ayahuasca? What is the medicine? What is, like, what happens to us when we consume this?
Okay. So what is it? There's like two different ways I can answer this. One being one from a spiritual shamanistic point of view, and the other being from like a Western scientific point of view. I'll start with the Western scientific point of view, and ayahuasca is a mix of two different plants. One being a plant that contains contains high traces of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is the hallucinogenic substance, and the other plant containing what's called an MAO inhibitor. Now, as humans, our pineal glands actually produce certain levels of DMT by itself. Now, to regulate this DMT within our body, because if it wasn't regulated, we'd be laying on the ground like babies, like you do in an ayahuasca ceremony. To regulate that, there's an enzyme in our stomach that, when the DMT comes in contact with that enzyme, it neutralizes its effect. So that enzyme is called monoamine oxidase, but we'll just call it MAO. So one, from the two plants, one contains DMT, one contains an MAO inhibitor. So what it does for a certain amount of time is it inhibits that enzyme in our stomach, allowing the DMT to be processed, accessing our blood and then our brain, which is where the visuals come from. So scientifically, it's just chemicals and compounds. Shamanistically and spiritually, the plant itself is, they call it the vine of the dead or the vine of the soul, and shamans, or even the people in the tribe there, see everything as having a spirit. We call it a soul, they call it a spirit. People have different spirits, and that's your characteristics and personality. Animals have different spirits, whether it be stubborn or courageous or whatever it is. Plants have spirits too, and each plant has a different spirit to it, its characteristics and personalities. So it's like the spirit of ayahuasca is a really strong, big spirit, and they call it Mother Ayahuasca, so it's a very nurturing spirit as well, and it's part of like the Earth's consciousness, if you want to see it that way, the Earth's spirit, and it's like an in-between messenger to help us evolve and understand how nature works, so we can work with nature, not against it. So it's like it has a spirit, and it wants to help us help the world and help ourselves.
Wow, that's amazing. And is there any danger with ayahuasca? Like, is there anything that you know of that could be something to be really mindful of when actually when looking to work with this medicine? Is there something that we really need to be mindful of, especially when going to the Amazon? Is there things that we should know or be aware?
Yep, there's definitely things to be aware of in going to the Amazon jungle to drink ayahuasca. First of all, it's to be careful because the people over there know that people from the West come over to do that medicine. So you can find it on the streets, random people selling it. You probably hear stories online. Because when you're under the influence of the medicine, it's really strong. Sometimes you can't move too well, or there's lots of stuff going on, and people have been robbed and things like this over there, being a poor parts of the world. And a different, like, point two is to be careful of any medications that you're taking. Certain serotonin reuptake medications can influence and have bad interactions with the medicine. So certain Western medications you actually have to stop taking if you want to use ayahuasca medicine. And from a few different shamans and resources, people that suffer from schizophrenia or like chronic bipolar, it's not so good for them to drink ayahuasca. I'm not 100% sure and don't know enough about it to share solid answers, but that is what I've heard reoccurringly from different sources.
Awesome. That's amazing. Thank you. So there was a documentary that I watched before I actually explored the medicine, and it was called The Last Shaman, and it was on Netflix, and you may have heard of it. And the story is of a young man from America who literally found himself on the verge of committing suicide because he was so done with the pressure of life. He had all the good grades, he had the girlfriend, he was doing all the right things according to society, but he found himself extremely, extremely, extremely depressed. And he had heard of this work. He had heard of heading over to South America, and he actually went on adventure and he documented everything. It was incredible. So his story was amazing because he did similarly spent a lot of time in the jungle and found himself not only did the depression disappear, he actually found so much more joy in the simplicity of life. May I ask you what you found the result, like what happened for you in the 6 months? Like, what was that like? And life afterwards, like how is that different to life before? I can hear banging as well. Don't know where that banging's coming from.
Okay. How's that different to life before? Banging. Okay. I think I know what that is. Okay. So, yeah. Life afterwards and life before. So, what my experience with ayahuasca was very deep and insightful experience doing the 6 months. During that 6 months, taken in mind, I sat in ceremony with the shaman every second night with ayahuasca medicine, and we were using other plant medicines on the in between nights. Not all of them, but sometimes. My experience was I got a lot of insight into how my system works physically, energetically. So how my mind works, why it works that way. Like I got to have a look at what my mind was doing and then why it was doing that. So, past programming, different things like this. And I also got insight into my physical body through the use of the medicine and just spending time in isolation. So being able to learn about my body and then bring it into alignment physically and energetically, which is the ultimate thing, because healing yourself gives you insight into how to heal others with the similar symptoms and problems. So my experience is gaining a lot of insight into how I work and why I work that way, which is very liberating, because then after that you can choose to be a different way if you can see that that's not serving you. And this definitely like the simplicities of life. Before I went, I didn't suffer from depression or anxiety or things like this. I was actually quite open anyway and different. So it's definitely, I would call it like it enhanced my perception and experience of life in different ways. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, I definitely have to agree. There's a lot of how I used to think that caused a lot of suffering in me that doesn't exist anymore because of sitting with these beautiful medicines. And it really helped me as well understand that my body so much more. I feel so much more connected to my body. I feel so much more connected to divinity, to spirit. I feel so much more connected to other people. It just really helped with lifting a veil that had been there for a really long time that was separating me from joy of life. And, it was either plant medicine or continuing another 10 years drinking and smoking. And I don't drink anymore. I used to drink a lot in the past to get, to cope with life, but I don't drink. I don't smoke. It's really helped with that as well. Something that I was trying to get to stop for a long time, for decades, really. But ever since sitting with the medicines, it's kind of just this desire to do that has gone away. I guess because of all the anger and resentment that I was suffering has also lifted. It's just it was amazing. So thank you for sharing that, Angus, and your wisdom. If you're loving the wisdom, please, I would love if you hit share so we can celebrate this amazing human who has just this amazing wisdom around around the medicine. It's been helpful. Rachel's loving it. Amy is loving it. Jody is asking, where is a reputable place to go in Peru to do plant medicines?
Okay, so I've just got the question that someone asked about a reputable place to go in South America to do ayahuasca. There's plenty of retreat centers now that are well facilitated with experienced ayahuasca drinkers and practitioners. So to search them up online, there's also plenty of people on Facebook to connect with. This place that I went through a personal contact, and she only takes groups in sometimes. So, and it's like I can't really send you like a street and address number to get there, sort of thing. So, but there is plenty of retreat centers now with if you were to search them up online, and you can see like read forums or join group chats about them and ask people's experience and this sort of thing. So it has become more mainstream, so these things have opened, and deep work happens in them.
Yes, and honestly, it's because of what has happened for me, and like I said before, it's not for everyone, but it's definitely something to consider if you're feeling the pull. If you're feeling the call, the pull, the curiosity around it, even learning more about it, even connecting with Angus as well. I will, when this is posted, I will actually pop Angus's contact at the top there so you can reach out to him if you have any questions around it, or myself as well. I've sat with the medicines various times now, and every single time, as you were saying before, Angus, is that insight after insight after insight, layer after layer, dissolving after dissolving, but also so much more alignment and alignment and alignment. And it's it's just what you were saying before about the spirit of the plants. And I've heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard it was actually the plants that taught the shamans how to make the medicine. Have you heard that?
So the integration.
Yeah, so I've actually heard quite a few different stories on how the brew came about, how the medicine came about. One of them is that like it come from when the people first came to this planet, like they were given these plants to plant. That would be like their communication to home, how they would reach home to learn and stay connected. There's so many different things, but I've also heard the story, which is quite common in the tribe that I visited that uses the medicine, that the plants did teach them how to make the medicine and how to use it. So, being tribes people, in amongst the Amazon rainforest, they're already super clear and tapped in energetically, intuitively. So for them to be, and like a lot of ancestral stuff, connecting to ancestors and using plants, that they like were open to that communication from the spirits of the plants more than most, you could say, and that the plants did tell them and instruct them on how to make the medicine and to use it.
So beautiful. Yeah, I definitely look. I just spent last week in Tasmania, and Tasmania, because of the wildlife and nature and the abundance of that beautiful natural frequency, I can definitely attest to, and I'm sure everyone that is watching can attest to how nature, once we really feel connected to nature, how much more flow we experience in ourselves, more flow we experience in our energy. And I can only imagine what it's like to be tapped in to the jungle for 6 months. What was life like afterwards, coming home?
What was life like afterwards, coming home? It was a big, big, different thing. So it was like coming home to a whole new world, and just holding that within myself and seeing the change in other people to a certain extent, but also seeing how actually pretty much everything changed because I changed. So even if it was the same before I left, I came home different, so it was different. But there was a lot of integration to be had, and that is a really key piece to doing a lot of, or any inner work, is the integration piece. So embodying what you have learnt and deploying it into your everyday life. Which for me, that was like, there was a lot of stuff there, and I worked on a lot of embodiment while I was there doing the medicine, but I am still having pieces land in and integration happen now to this day from that 6 month experience. And I'm sure it would just happen for the rest of my life, just learning more and more about it. Um, but for a while, it was a little bit difficult and different, like communicating with people and doing some things. I had some family members look at me a little bit strange, like maybe I was a bit crazy or something like this. But it was just because I was trying to integrate such deep work into my life and to be able to share that and communicate it with people, um, which is not so common. But it was a really great experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I did a Vipassana this time last year, which is, if you don't know what a Vipassana is, it's 10 days complete silent retreat. Not so much a retreat, an experience, complete silence in nature. And I found coming back into society difficult. So I was just like, sounds were like, ugh, like to me, it was wild. So I can only imagine what that was like after 6 months being in the jungle. Crazy. So for anyone else, we are going to close this very soon. And thank you everybody for your patience for this, our first Be Live together. And thank you so much, Angus, for joining me tonight and sharing your wisdom and sharing your knowledge and information around this beautiful, beautiful work that we've been so blessed to really bring into our very own lives, and to offer a segue for anyone else who has questions or curious about it for themselves, knowing that this is all part of your journey too, guys. This information is just all part of your exploration as well. Is there anything else before we finish, Angus, that you would like to add to your share tonight?
No, I think I'm pretty content with what's been shared. Also, just an encouragement for people to reach out if they do want to know some information or are interested in going to do this work and have questions they want answered. I would be happy to provide such information and connect and make some new friends that are interested in using this medicine.
Perfect. So speaking of plant medicine, guys, next week, if you weren't tuned in last week, I shared with you that I'm actually going to be bringing a plant medicine onto the show next week. Yes, I will be, that we get to do together, and it is called cacao. So if any of you that have heard of the medicine of delicious, amazing cacao, which is also considered as a plant medicine, for me, it's a plant medicine that really awakens my creativity and allows me to tune into nature when I'm in my creation and creativity. We have the blessing of bringing the CEO of my favorite ever cacao brand ever, the Australian Ceremonial Cacao. We have Leena, who is the creator of this brand, who will be joining us to do a cacao ceremony together. Now, if you wish to join us and wish to sip on the exact cacao that we're going to be sipping on, head over to my page, my business page, Jackie Lou V Robinson. I will be putting it in the comments. Actually, I'll put it in the comments now. I think it'll work. It's not going to work. Jackie Lou V Robinson, head over to and sign up to the emailing link. You also get a free money book, a book that I wrote not long ago. It's an upgraded version of Clear Your Money Funk, which is a 5-day experience to attune you to the frequency of money as well. So you get a free book, and you get also the link for the Zoom call that we're going to be doing the cacao ceremony together. You also get information on how you can purchase your very own Australian Ceremonial Cacao. Also, recipe on how you make the cacao, so you are drinking the most delicious cacao. And I make mad cacao, so you want this recipe. In addition to that, so that's next week. If you are wanting to join the cacao ceremony, please share this video to your friends who also would love to join in cacao. We're going to teach you how you actually do a cacao ceremony. So not only can you do cacao ceremonies at home by yourself, but you can actually introduce it into your family and introduce it to your friends and your sister circles. If you're wanting to run your sister circles at home, we will teach you how to run a cacao ceremony. So jump on, sign up, get the emails, get the information around that, or email me, send me a message directly. And also Awaken events. We sold out in our Awaken event in Launceston over the weekend. Sold out, fully packed. We are hosting another Awaken in the Sunshine Coast. So if you do not yet have a space secured, you best do that, because we sell out, we pack out, and we actually have to say no to people. I will also put the event details on the top when I change it a little bit. Thank you again, Angus, for your time, for your wisdom. I really appreciate you, brother, and just so super grateful for all of that. I learned a lot tonight. Who else learned a lot tonight? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so sweet. What a sweet man.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're awesome.
And yeah, thank you to you, Jax, for having me on to share some stuff and have this conversation, because like I mentioned, it's very deep to me, these experiences and the work that I've done with the medicine, and it means a lot to me. And thank you to everyone on the call for your patience and your compassion in us doing this video.
Thank you. And for those of you that are interested and want to learn more, I am hosting a retreat, a boot camp at the end of February. You may want to get in touch with me. You may want to get in touch with me. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.